I'm Edward October. This morning's tale, a throwback to the golden age of old-time radio, is a stern warning for anyone traveling out of town for Thanksgiving. I hear the traffic is hell.
Forget to turn those essays in before you leave. Strunk and White are your friends, ladies and gentlemen. And one more thing. I know everyone is ready to begin their Thanksgiving break, but try and stay off the roads today and tonight. I want to see you all back in one piece after the break. Right, that's it, you can go.
Gee, thanks for the warning, Professor Avery. About the driving, I mean.
I'm glad you paid attention. There'll be a lot of crazies on the road tonight. I hope that you'll stay inside.
No such luck there. I'm traveling upstate to visit my folks, but I'm leaving now. Promise. It won't even be dark yet. And I'll drive the speed limit and look out for flashing high beams.
High flashing beams may, in fact, warn you about danger on the road ahead. But if you are already breaking the law, it'll come back to haunt you.
No, I meant like that old urban legend. You know, the girl is driving and there's a killer hiding in her back seat. And there's another driver who keeps flashing his high beams at her and she thinks he's the threat, but he's, just trying to warn her.
Ah, I see. You're sounding more and more like a psych major every day.
You mean an English/psychology double major with a concentration in organizational communication.
Yeah, that. Anyway, I'm not sure that urban legends are still relevant in today's world. Still, if an old wives' tale will keep you off the road.
It won't, but your point is well taken. Have a great Thanksgiving, Professor Avery.
Wait, hold on a second.
Professor Avery, give me back my phone.
You see that? Your battery's low. I bet it'll be drained after listening to just a single podcast, and you'd be wise not to leave until it's fully charged. Here you are.
Understood, Professor. Thanks. See you next week.
Goodbye, Julia.
Minutes quickly turned into hours as Julia headed out on the main highway. She was making good time, but endless traffic began to take its toll. The drive took much longer than she anticipated. The last remnants of the sunlight soon faded, swallowed up by the dark gray twilight, until it overtook it completely. And then, just as night fell, she pulled off onto a little-known back road that she'd read about on a travel blog.
Finally, I thought I'd never be out of that traffic.
See the shocking new novel by Amy Koto. Available now on Amazon.
Julia examined the hood of the car, saw the charcoal clouds exhaling from it, and realized, to her dismay, that this was no simple flat tire. She glanced down at her cell phone, but the signal was fading. She stared back at the open road. No headlights appeared. She was alone with over an hour of driving ahead, but all she could see was the eternal darkness spilling out in front of her.
Just put in a call to Roadside Assistance, Julia. Just call them while you have a little bit of signal, and wait. Somebody will come. Someone always comes.
Thank you for calling Roadside Assistance. Our menu options have changed, so please listen carefully. For assistance in English, press 1. Pour enseigner l'aide en français, appuyez sur 2.
Julia managed to dispatch a tow truck to her location. However, she was warned there'd be a long wait due to an unusual amount of traffic incidents.
Pull over to a safe location while you wait. Hang up and dial 911 if you are in immediate danger. A technician will be there to assist you as soon as possible. Goodbye.
After about 30 minutes, fading headlights appeared in the distance. Julia's teeth were chattering as she stepped out of her car to get a better look. A pickup truck appeared at the edge of the road, flashing its high beams at her repeatedly. Normally, she would have been relieved, thinking that someone had come along to help. But those high beams reminded her too much of that urban legend. Julia shielded her eyes and got back in the car, locking the doors on instinct. She stared in her rearview mirror as terror edged its way back under her skin. The high beams lit up behind her with a disorienting strobe effect. Julia's escalated heartbeat continued to clang against her chest. She stared straight ahead, but curiosity forced her eyes to dart from side to side just to get a better look. A woman in her early 30s stared back at her. She rolled down the window and pointed at Julia to do likewise. Julia frantically rolled down her window and poked her head out.
You lost, little lady?
No, I'm fine. I'm just waiting for a tow. Thanks all the same.
There's not too many cars that come down this way. You want me to take a look? I'm a mechanic, you know. I know I don't look it.
Something about this motorist gave Julia the willies, something she couldn't quite place. The thought of accepting help from this particular stranger raised red flags.
No, really, I'm fine. Thanks for stopping by, though. I'll be alright until roadside assistance gets here.
Well, how about I wait with you? You shouldn't be out here all alone on the side of the road.
Julia forced a smile, but doubt clung to her. She didn't want to be alone out here, but there was still something she couldn't put her finger on. Something odd.
Whoa! Don't you see those fumes puking out from your hood? Get out of the car! By God, you're not safe in there. You really done a number on that engine, miss. I hope you brought cranberries because this turkey is done. We shouldn't be anywhere near here right now. What do? Hit a deer? I clipped an adolescent buck with my truck about 6 weeks ago. I could have totaled it, but I swerved and got away with just a crack in the windshield. You know, there's a gas station about 2 miles up the road. The least I can do is drive you to it. I don't bite. Honest, I don't.
Well, I suppose since it's only a couple miles.
Sorry I didn't introduce myself earlier. I'm Jay.
Julia.
Pleased to meet you. Let's get you somewhere safe now, little lady.
Taped to the windshield, next to a long, jagged crack, Julia caught sight of a photograph. In it, Jay is standing next to a handsome young woman with an adorable little boy cuddled up next to her.
What a beautiful family. I apologize if I came off rude before, but
you can never be too careful. I took no offense. I wouldn't want one of my loved ones getting into a stranger's car either. Not everyone has the best of intentions, but sometimes you gotta take a leap of faith.
Still no service. I swear it seems to come and go whenever I even try to use it. I was able to call roadside assistance, but haven't been able to call or text anyone else. I hope there's a payphone or a landline at the gas station.
Guess you picked the wrong place to break down. And on the day before Thanksgiving, no less. Most travel day of the year. You on your way to Grandma's house for the big dinner?
Yeah, something like that.
Warm cherry pie would taste good and proper right about now. You want to stop for a bite?
No thanks, I just want to get to a phone.
Suit yourself. Just thought you might want to show me a little hospitality. That is, if you're not gonna invite me to your big, fancy Thanksgiving dinner.
Warning bells rang in Julia's head as she slowly moved her hand toward the door handle, waiting for the truck to slow down. Julia gripped the door and began unbuckling her seatbelt as silently as possible.
And in other news, police are looking for a person of interest in a string of abduction murders that have been taking place over the last 6 weeks. The suspect was last spotted driving a late-model black pickup truck with a cracked windshield by Highway 107. If you spot a black pickup truck matching our description, please call 911 immediately.
Hey, you could have cracked my skull against the windshield. Did you really crack it by hitting a deer?
Trying to get out, I see. Child safety lock. We can't have you going anywhere and getting yourself in trouble, can we, little lady?
You're not going to get away with this. This is the day before Thanksgiving, the most traveled day of the year. There are more cops out now than any other day of the year.
Have you seen any? Don't you get it, little one? You're mine now.
Adrenaline rushed through Julia as she ran through a million possibilities in her head. None of them ended well. She was trapped and at a disadvantage, but she knew that she could still outmatch her opponent, not with strength, but with her mind. Julia knew that she could play on Jay's desires.
I think I understand you, more than you could ever even know. I know what it's like to be an outsider. You think my family understands me? I thought about running away 1,000,000 times. They'll never know me. Not really. I'm so alien to them. Maybe that's why I'm on the road by myself. Maybe there's a part of me hoping I'll run into another lonely traveler. Someone who would just get it. And then you showed up. I saw that picture on the windshield, the one over the crack. That's a beautiful family. You've always wanted to have a family of your own, haven't you? But it's hard because you're different. Society won't allow someone like you to have a beautiful family. That woman in the picture, she's gorgeous. But that picture is a lie, isn't it? Do you stage photos like that for all of the women you abduct?
You got me all figured out, do you? Is that what you think this photograph's about? You're in for a bit of a surprise. You'll be meeting him soon. Just you wait.
They drove for what seemed like hours, but was perhaps only a few minutes, down roads Julia didn't recognize, and dust kicked up and swirled like fog in the bouncing beams of the truck's headlights. At one point, they passed another motorist. Julia lunged to the driver's side to flick the high beams and honk the horn. Jay shoved her back against the passenger door with a startling display of brute force. As Julia craned her neck to see if the other car would stop, Jay slammed on the brakes, just as before. This time, Julia's head took a nasty crack on the dashboard, knocking her out cold.
Now is it Thanksgiving, Mother?
Yes. Our Thanksgiving always starts at 12 a.m. Are you done with your turkey?
Yep, the feathers came out a little pointy because of tracing my fingers. But it's a turkey, all right. What do you think?
It's very nice. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Anybody got a magnet? We should hang it on the fridge.
Julia opened her eyes. She was in the dining room of what looked like a charming old farmhouse, until she noticed the windows were either painted black or covered with tin foil. Jay was standing nearby, speaking to a woman in a comical sweater, decorated with turkeys and pumpkins. The boy she'd heard speaking was with them, wearing a homemade pilgrim costume. Julia felt cold and slowly came to the realization that she was lying naked on a wooden table, covered with a blanket of leaves that smelled of parsley. She struggled to get up, but her muscles wouldn't respond.
Hey, looks like the guest of honor has decided to join us. Wakey, wakey, little ladybird.
What the hell?
There's no use struggling, darling. Your head might be awake, but the rest of you won't thaw out for quite a while. That's all thanks to a little cocktail I cooked up with my own secret recipe.
I don't understand.
Isn't she rude? We're so happy to welcome you into our home. I trust you're very comfortable?
You're the woman from the picture, and the little boy?
Where are my manners? Julia, this is my sister Persephone, and this little spooker here is my nephew Angus. She thought we were a couple. You see, we are different. Just not in the way you thought.
Your teeth. Fangs.
Mine's just growed in. This is the first year I don't gotta eat at the kids' table with a sippy cup.
Are we about ready to do this, folks?
Yeah, sure. We're just waiting on the good doctor.
Well, go get her. I'm starved.
Julia could scarcely believe her predicament. Was this a dream? Surely she'd dozed off in class and would wake up any moment now and jump in her car to go home. Home to family, to warm hearths and cheer, to be surrounded by loved ones. But no. Something in her heart told her this was no dream. This was a waking nightmare. And then...
Ah, Julia, how delightful to see you again. You know, I warned you not to travel tonight of all nights, but I see you made it to your Thanksgiving dinner table anyway. Perhaps not quite in the manner that you expected.
Doesn't she look great? Dressed up with parsley and all the fixins.
Good enough to eat.
Angus, have some table manners.
I don't understand. How did you follow me?
I couldn't believe the sudden stroke of luck when you, the little one that I've had my eye on for so long, told me you were heading upstate. Why, you'd be travelling right past our little family gathering. Well, our non-traditional little family, such as it is.
I'd argue we're quite traditional here. Jay's agreed to say the blessing, and she chose one that's been in the family for 138 years.
You'll never get away with this. When the tow truck finds my car, when my family starts to miss me, they'll send someone. Somebody will come and lock up every last godless one of you.
Perhaps they'll find a way to track your cell phone to our location. I am afraid, my dear, that your phone has always been powered down since the moment you left my classroom.
I don't understand. That's impossible. I made a call to Roadside Assistance. I spoke to an operator. They sent a technician and everything.
You only thought you did. It's amazing what sorts of glamours and enhancements you can perform with blood and some good old world magic. Just a tiny drop of my little concoction applied to your cell phone was enough to cloud your mind into thinking that your car had broken down and that you'd been able to use your phone normally.
We lured you to the exact spot where I found you. Now you see, you've been mine this whole time, little lady.
Ours, you mean?
But the radio, the news broadcasts, all those abduction murders?
Oh, those were real enough. Somebody's got to provide for this family. Promise you won't go blabbing to the police.
Julia was helpless to do anything but stare in amazement as this family sat around the table for their midnight Thanksgiving dinner, chatting pleasantly as they unfolded napkins, as any other family would do just before the big meal.
Mother, can I stay up late and watch the parade on TV? I could bring my laptop down to the cellar with me and stream it.
I don't know. That would have you up way past your bedtime, and it's supposed to be awfully sunny in the morning.
Right. Time for the blessing. Jay, I understand you've prepared a reading for us?
O ye great demons of hell, we thank thee for the blood which is life, and remember times when we were thirsty. We thank thee for the joys of undeath, and remember the despair of unlife. We thank thee for the blood in family, and remember those who possesseth only family by birth. We thank thee for the freedom of the great black void, and remember those enslaved within the cages of meat. May these remembrances stir to serve thee, that thy gifts to us may be everlasting. So be it.
So be it.
Right. Now we can have a very gay little supper, and since it's little Angus's first Thanksgiving with all of his permanent fangs, I think it's only fitting that he gets the first serving.
Finally.
Hey, save the neck for me, kid. Why don't you start on a drumstick?
The boy drank from an artery in Julia's drumstick before the others began their meal. It was only painful at first. The worst part was the coldness that seeped deeper into her bones as the blood spilled from her like warm gravy. Jay, of course, saved the neck for last, which she tucked into greedily. As Jay supped her life's blood, Julia's eyes glazed over, lost and innocent. But soon, all expression was replaced with cold, hollow darkness.
You lied to me, Jay. You told me you wouldn't bite.
You shun that house in New Orleans. They call the rising sun.
Sind zurück.